Testing 1, 2. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hello. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember, you don't have to believe this. You need not accept it. You need not even welcome it. Some of the stuff that I say today might be hard to believe. Some of the things I say today may be quite startling. You are not being asked to judge the ideas at all. As a matter of fact, it would be quicker and better if you just took the attitude that you were willing to listen to some ideas. More so than listen to me from the standpoint that you think that I or the course am trying to convince you of anything. Okay? Be better to go, okay, I'm willing to listen to some different ideas, possibly some different thoughts today. And so I'm going to open my mind up enough to do that. Because the Course in Miracles has a tendency to say things that are 180 degrees opposite to the way we've been taught. So if you think you have to believe it, you won't hear it because you'll be too busy resisting what you're hearing. And it says, what really makes the Course in Miracles real is using it. And the use of the ideas will show you that they're true. Not the analyzing of the ideas, but it's the use of the ideas that will show you that they're true. It's the use of the ideas that will show you that they're true. Hello there. Did I say it was the use of the ideas that would show you that they're true? Okay, all right, all right. I'd like to start out by saying I'm very grateful and appreciative of you being here. You know, I'm crying on the inside in joy, but I'm just too macho to show you. So I look like I'm just totally in control of myself right now, but there's a part of me that just feels moved to be in the presence of so many bright lights. You're the light of the world.
And Paris and I think you're particularly handsome today.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Don't we agree?
Yes.
Particularly.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your correct perception. I know when I hear a correct perception. So if you all hear anything other than that, somebody lying to you. Anybody telling you anything other than how beautiful you are, you know you're listening to something that's not true. That's right. So now you know how to tell the difference between the truth and a lie. If it's something loving about you, something that's pointing out how lovable you are, how beautiful you are, now that's the truth, whether you believe it or not. Because your belief about something doesn't make it true. I'll say that again.
Yeah.
So whether something is true or not has nothing to do with your belief. If it's true whether you believe it or not. But you only perceive and you only experience what you believe. So your life is a reflection of your belief, but the experience that you're having may not at all be a reflection of what's true. So you're experiencing your beliefs about your love life. Let's have a moment of silence. You're experiencing your belief about money. Let's have a moment of silence. You're experiencing your beliefs. You're not experiencing necessarily the truth unless you're coming from a place of joy and appreciation and love. If you're experiencing your life in that way, the Course would still say that isn't the ultimate truth, but you are perceiving what's true. So a true perception is a loving perception. A true perception is a freeing perception. A true perception is a perception of innocence and joy and fun and happiness and centeredness. Those are true perceptions. False perceptions are perceptions of fear, perceptions of anger, perceptions of guilt, jealousy, insecurity, sickness. These are perceptions of yourself that are not true. So I'm going to start out today with the lesson for today. And I'm going to spend about 15 minutes on it. And the lesson for today in the Course in Miracles workbook, the Course in Miracles is basically a self-study course that teaches you how to remove the blocks to the awareness of love and joy inside yourself. It's a book that teaches you how to change your interpretation of your life to such a point that nothing makes you lose your peace. And if nothing is making you lose your peace, you can hear the voice of your inner guidance. When you hear the voice of your inner guidance, you will be told exactly what to do in every situation and circumstance in your life, and you will start to experience a level of satisfaction and fulfillment far beyond your wildest imagination, because you'll no longer be listening to you. That's the key to happiness. It's no longer listening to the stuff that you're telling yourself that keeps you from feeling that way, right? Because you're the one that's telling yourself the stuff that's making you feel the way you feel. So today's lesson is, I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. That's lesson 31. There are 365 lessons in the Course in Miracles workbook, and the purpose of the 365 lessons is to allow you to actually give these ideas practical application in your life so that you'll see that they're true. So if you never do the workbook, you've never done the course. So to claim anything about the Course in Miracles and saying that it does not work, but you've never done the workbook, then that is just a bunch of crap. If you haven't actually done the workbook, then how do you know whether or not it works? So if you haven't done the workbook, you haven't done the course. If you haven't done the workbook, you haven't done the course. That doesn't mean you can't get really helpful information out of what you hear today. Doesn't mean you can't get really cool, helpful information out of what you hear today, but you haven't done the Course in Miracles if you haven't done the workbook. Did I say you haven't done the Course in Miracles if you haven't done the workbook? Okay, so that means that unless I do the workbook, I haven't done the Course in Miracles. If you haven't done the workbook, you haven't done the Course in Miracles. So you can't say the Course in Miracles isn't true if you haven't done what the Course in Miracles says you need to do in order to recognize what the Course in Miracles is teaching. Right?
Yeah.
So the idea for today, I am not the victim of the world I see. It says, this is the introduction to your declaration of release. This should be applied to both the world you see on the outside and the world you see on the inside. I'm not the victim of my thoughts, and I'm not the victim of anything that's happening out here. You're not the victim of your thoughts. You're not the victim of anything that's happening in your physical world. You're not the victim of your mama. You're not the victim of your daddy. You're not the victim of your childhood. You're not the victim of your sex. You're not the victim of your race. You're not the victim of anything in your physical world. Then it goes on to say, in applying the idea, we used the form of practice that will be used more and more with changes as indicated. Generally speaking, the form includes two aspects. One aspect in which you apply the idea on a more sustained basis, and the other consisting of frequent applications of the idea throughout the day, which you will come to realize is exactly the same thing. If I am applying that idea that I'm not a victim of anything on a sustained basis, it means I must be applying it frequently throughout the day. The Course in Miracles is like that. It just uses synonyms. It's all the way through the whole book. If you're reading something in the Course, and all of a sudden you go, what the heck did I just read? Keep going. Just go, what does that mean? Keep going. I don't understand that. Keep going. Because the Course in Miracles assumes that you won't understand mostly anything that it's saying. And so it says it in a gazillion different ways because it knows that one of those ways you will hear it. So actually it's a trick when you stay on any particular paragraph or any particular sentence trying to make sure that you don't go on to the next one until you understand that. Because one day you'll realize it wasn't that you didn't understand it, it just means you weren't ready to accept it as true yet. For instance, if I say you're not a victim of the world you see, and you come back and say, well, I don't understand that. No, you understand you're not a victim. You're intelligent enough to know exactly what you are not a victim means. The problem is you don't accept you're not a victim. And so if you don't accept it, then you say, I don't understand it. So I don't understand it merely means I don't accept it. I don't understand you. I don't accept you. I don't understand this. I don't accept this. When they told me 1 and 1 was 2, then I accepted it, and then they said I knew addition. And all I was doing basically was just repeating what I was told, saying that I accepted it. Right? They had told you 1 and 1 was 305. You'd be standing so crying, 1 and 1 is 305. You know, then the teacher go, yeah, Purdy, that was good. Right? So I don't understand means I don't accept. Okay? Then it goes on to tell you, well, 2 longer practice periods with the idea for today, and I'm going to say what idea, and then I like those who feel like saying it, say, I am not the victim of the world I see. Okay? Anybody who feels like saying that with me, I'd like you to say that. Okay? It says, the 2 longer practice periods today with the idea for today,
I'm not a victim of the world I see.
1 in the morning and 1 at night, 3 to 5 minutes. You know, could you imagine having a romantic evening and you're getting ready to connect with the person, and then the first thing is your time to do your lesson, you look at him and go, I'm not a victim of what's about to occur. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So it says, during the time, look about you slowly. Now look around you slowly. Look at everybody. This is your chance to check everybody out and feel like you're spiritual. Isn't that funny? Yeah, okay. All right. Then it says, then repeat the idea 2 or 3 times while you're doing that. One more time. I'm not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. Okay. All right, now close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes and say, and then think about what you're thinking right now about the person you just saw. In case it was somebody you really was like checking out, you know. Okay. Now say to yourself silently, according to any thoughts you're thinking, I am not the victim of the world I see. Because you're going to escape. When you close your eyes, this same idea applies to your inner world as well as your outer world. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the thoughts that I'm having. I'm not a victim of the feelings that I'm having. I'm not a victim of what's going on the inside. I'm not a victim of what's going on the outside, because you will escape from both together, because the inner is the cause of the outer. 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 So whatever you're experiencing in the outer is being caused by your inner. So the outer of your life is a reflection of the inner in your life. So if you want to know what's going on inside you, deep down inside of you, it's everything that's happening outside of you. Think about that for a minute. So that means there's not any area of your life that you can't change, because there's nothing in your life that's being caused by anything outside. You need not believe it, accept it, or welcome that. You know, even if I don't like something that the Course in Miracles says, I never see the words on the page change. So that's the way I am. I'm not going to change anything I say because somebody might not like it. I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. All it takes is a little funk to bring us back. All right. Funk you.
Thank you very much.
That's right. That's right. Funk me, okay. I like that. That's good. That's good. All right, you motherfuckers. All right. Let's see. Now, as you survey your inner world. Merely let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness. Let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness. Let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness. Let whatever thoughts cross your mind come into your awareness. Each thought to be considered for a moment and then replaced by the next thought. That's what happens all the time. We're always having thoughts cross our mind that are being replaced by other thoughts. So it's basically saying to us, think the way you always do. Then it says, try not to establish any kind of hierarchy about those thoughts. Don't say one thought is more important than another thought. Just watch your thoughts come and watch your thoughts go as dispassionately as possible. Oh, this is my thought about my mama. This is my thought about my job. This is my thought about my body. This is my thought about my relationship. So you're supposed to like watch your thoughts cross your mind. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, like being a black dude, here's the way my thoughts cross my mind. Know what I'm talking about? Okay, so you watch your thoughts come and you watch your thoughts go as how dispassionately as possible. What does that mean? It's an anger thought. Great. It's a jealousy thought. Okay. It's another insecure thought. In other words, stop making your thoughts such a big freaking deal. Okay, you're angry again. Is it the first time? Isn't it amazing how we respond to our thoughts as if we're just amazed? Like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm worrying. How many times have you done that in your life? Right? Think about it. Think about how many thoughts we have all the time and we react each time as if, like, for example, this is the big one. This is the one, though, right? Then it says, watch them come, watch them go as dispassionately as possible. What does that mean? It means don't dwell on any one of your thoughts in particular. Just try to let the stream move on evenly and calmly. That means let the thoughts go through your mind without any special investment on your part. I'm not going to say this thought makes me bad. I'm not going to say this thought makes me feel guilty. I'm not going to say this thought makes me feel like I'm a spiritual failure. If you're doing all of that, you're judging your thoughts. If you're judging your thoughts, you're not looking at your thoughts correctly. You should be able to have the most hateful thought in the world dispassionately.
Oh, interesting.
You know, oh, I hate. And it's coming past. You watch it, right? Then it says, as you sit and quietly watch your thoughts, repeat today's idea.
I am not the victim of the world I see.
To yourself as often as who cares to? You care to. And it says with no sense of hurry. So in addition, repeat the idea.
I am not the victim of the world I see.
As often as possible during the day. I wonder how many times a day you would get a chance to say that. Oh, I'm not a victim of this. I'm not a victim of that. I'm not a victim of the other. I'm not a victim of this. I'm not a victim of them. I'm not a victim of that. I'm not a victim of the weather. I was tempted to think I might be a victim of the weather. You know, everybody tomorrow they're talking about a big snowstorm, so everybody's all ready to be a victim of the weather now. The snowstorm is coming to get us. Oh my God, you know how good you're going to feel tomorrow. It depends on the snowstorm. Right? I'm a victim of the snowstorm, right? So then it says, remind yourself that you are making a declaration of independence in the name of your own freedom. You're making a every time you go, I'm not a victim of this, you're saying, I'm making a declaration of release. I'm making a declaration of independence in the name of my own freedom. Because I want to be free, I'm going to say I'm not a victim of you. Because I want to be free, I'm not going to blame you. Because I want to be free, I won't see you as being the one that's causing anything about what's happening to me right now. Because I want to be free. So my declaration of independence is, I'm not a victim of you, but let me tell you what I'm perceiving and what I'm feeling right now, because I'd like another way to look at it. I hope I'm wrong if I'm having a thought about you that's less than loving. That's different from, you doggone son of a gun, let me tell you what you did to me. I hope I'm wrong about this. I'm not a victim of this, but I'd like to see this differently. Is there another way we could look at this? That's not going to bring up a lot of defensiveness in a person. But when you go, you! As soon as you start out with you messed up. You know, as soon as you approach somebody and you go, you messed up right there. I don't like the way I feel right now. So I hope I'm wrong about this. I'd like to have another way to look at this. perhaps there's another way to look at this. What can I lose by asking for another way to look at this? You know, because I really want peace between us. That's different from you. And in the freedom, and I love this, in your freedom lies the freedom of the world. Right? In my freedom lies the freedom of the world. What does that heck does that mean? In my freedom lies the freedom. Well, if I free myself, I'm going to free you. If I'm freeing myself from blame and guilt and anger and attack, then I'm not going to do those things to you. So in my freedom is your freedom. And my happiness is your happiness. Because if I'm happy, then that's the living proof to you that, at least with one person, you're not doing anything to them to hurt them. My joy witnesses to your innocence, because in my joy, you can't possibly feel guilty and feel like you're hurting me in any way. Why? Because I'm happy. That's what I'm talking about. If that makes sense. Right? If you hang out with me and I feel peaceful and loving, you're not going to feel like I'm making you feel guilty and that you're hurting me in any way. So your joy and your happiness is a witness to the innocence of everybody around you. But the same is true of you being miserable all the time around somebody and looking sad and guilty and pathetic. That's saying to everybody around you, behold me, brother, at your hand, everything in my life sucks. Look at what the world is doing to me. That's why I'm looking so sad right now. So you become a living witness of the guilt of everybody else, because you're holding them responsible for your happiness. So in a sense, people who stay chronically unhappy are merciless to everyone. They're looking at everybody and saying, look at what you're doing to me. Look at what you're doing to me. Look at what my mama did. Look at what my daddy did. Look at what my race did. Look at what my gender did. Look at what my sex did. They're always witnessing to something that somebody else is doing to them. How do you know that? Because if they knew they were the creator of their experience, and if they knew that they were innocent and they were powerful and they had spiritual guidance and they were not alone, then they wouldn't be miserable. So they're not owning or taking any responsibility for their happiness. It's okay to be that way a minute. Like you said, be dispassionate. You're upset about something right now. Great, look at it, watch it cross. But that's just for you to temporarily bring to your awareness that there's a need for correction and healing. You're not supposed to live in it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, I'm mad at you. I'm not supposed to stay mad for the next 10 hours. I'm mad, and so I should do something about it. Say what? I am not a victim of the world I see. I am not a victim of the world I see. I am not a victim of the world I see. I am not a victim of the world I see. Isn't that amazing what that funk break do? Because you find yourself turning slowly to stone as I talk. Have you noticed I'm like the black Medusa with no hair. You watch me after a while. I watched it in the class. I watched people start. I'm gonna take y'all right over there to the museum. And the Course says that the truth immobilizes the ego. The truth immobilizes the part of you that doesn't know it and doesn't want to believe it. So the part of you that wants to believe you're a victim, the part of you that has a laundry list of reasons why you're a victim, that part of you becomes immobilized in the presence of the truth. Yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. Let's say one nice yes, but. Yes, but. You want to get that out one more time? Yes, but. All right, you all have nice, round yes, buts. Y'all really I want to acknowledge that about all of y'all. Really impressed. So it says, the idea for today.
I am not a victim of the
It's also a particularly useful idea to use as a response to any form of temptation that may arise. What would be temptation? A form of temptation that would arise would be the temptation for you to see yourself as a victim.
Yes.
It's very simple. All day long, you're going to be tempted to see yourself as a victim. That's going to come up over and over again. Oh no, that's not my fault. That was not. Okay, you're being tempted to see yourself as a victim. So whenever that comes up, then it says, I am not a victim of the world I see, is a declaration that you will not yield to the temptation. What temptation? The temptation to see myself as a victim. And he says, that's the same as the temptation to put yourself in bondage. Okay? Okay? Now, I know that when I was born and came into this dream, this physical reality in a black body, at the time I was born, it looked like I was a victim, especially living in the South with segregation. So I knew that I obviously came here to deal with bondage and slavery issues. I tried to make my lesson very obvious. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss my lesson when I came in. All right? Yeah, the temptation to see myself as a victim was everywhere around me as I grew up, right? So, where are you playing the victim? Where are you being in bondage? Where are you seeing yourself as in bondage? That's where you're playing the victim card. And that does what? Puts you in bondage. It gets rid of your freedom and your independence. Like I want to have a good time today. I want to enjoy you today. And so I have to take responsibility for enjoying you today. You know, in my receiving the download for the workshop that I'm going to do on Saturday, it's like, what would be the workshop that would most inspire me is the one I'm doing, not the workshop that would most inspire you. That would be an error. I want to do a workshop that I would go and stand on the street corner and do. One that I would go around the world to do. That I would be excited at the attitude that I'm even going to do it all day. And out of my enthusiasm, my inspiration, my clarity, and my love, I'll give you the best workshop that you could ever have through me. But if I do the workshop based on what would make you happy, then that would disempower me.
Yeah.
Because I would be so busy trying to impress you, influence you, move you, keep your attention, make sure you like what I'm saying, that nothing about it would be authentic. So the way that you give the world a happy day is to have one yourself. Get up in the morning and go, what do I want? What would turn me on? What would inspire me today? What would I enjoy doing? Not what would they enjoy. It would be because out of that joy, out of that inspiration, they're going to enjoy if they choose to. Now, a person that's made the decision that they're not going to be happy no matter what happens, it doesn't matter how happy you are and how up you are, they'll still decide to be pathetic if they're busy punishing themselves that day. And some people like to punish themselves. And so those who like to punish themselves, out of my respect for them, I offer another way to look at it. If they're interested in that. And if they're not, then I honor them by letting them be in the mood that they've chosen to be in. You don't want to teach people that the only way to get attention is to be miserable. And that's what you do when you just keep responding to the misery of another person. You're teaching them, the way to get attention is for me to always be contrary, opposite. So again, recognize the call for love, be willing to answer the call for love as best you can, but don't get lost in it. Don't join in the suffering. Don't join in the suffering. Don't join in the suffering and then call that being empathetic. Okay, they need to see that there is another way they could be in that instance other than miserable. So you owe it to the people who are miserable to be as happy as you possibly can, and especially in their presence, but with compassion. I am not the victim of the world I see. One more time, and that'll be the end of that one. Then I'm going to the next thing. 1, 2, 1, ready, go. I am not the victim of the world I see. I am not the victim of the world I see. Any questions, any comments about that before I go to the next part?
That's good stuff, Earl.
Was that cool?
Yeah.
Was that cool? Now, remember that you don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it or welcome it. If you use that idea, you'll see that it works. Because if you use it, you'll find that over a period of time, you'll start to feel stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. But don't forget, there's a part of you that has a vested interest in keeping you just the way you are. And the part of you that has a vested interest in keeping you just the way you are is the part of you that has a vested interest in keeping you just the way you are. Okay, y'all clear about what's coming? Okay, just wanted to make sure we was on the same page. Now, there's another lesson I'm going to do today that I do from time to time because I feel like it is one of the absolute most important lessons in the Course of Miracles. But again, no questions, no comments, no ahas. Anybody have an aha? Yes.
I feel like the same person who wants me to stay exactly the way I am also wants to exterminate me.
Yes. Absolutely. Where do you think death comes from?
I know.
It comes from the part of you that thinks you should die.
Yeah. If I don't give you the same, I'm gonna kill you. You know.
That's right. That's right. I know. It's a part of. There's a part of me that hates me. I don't know about y'all, but there's a part of me that criticizes me, judges me, never sees me as enough. Do any of you have that part? That says dastardly things about you. Yeah, and sometimes you'll form relationships to make sure you hear those dastardly things. Right, you might, just in case you might forget it. You make sure you get with somebody that reminds you.
So as we practice these lessons, that voice becomes, that part of our minds becomes less strong. It becomes weaker.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Because the thing to realize is you're not trying to put the loving, sane being in you. The loving, sane being, the divine being is already there. It's just covered up with these thoughts that are marching, that you're listening to all day. See, your ego is the conversation in your head that you're having with yourself all day long. And that conversation that you're having in your head, that is the conversation that's causing all the feelings that you're having. All the feelings that you're having are coming from the conversation that you're having in your head. So once you begin to recognize that, then you automatically begin to say, okay, well, I'm going to give myself a brand new conversation. I'm going to start telling myself something totally different than anything that I've told myself in the past. And then the mind goes, well, what should that be? What is it that I could tell myself that's different? Then, ta-da! The Course in Miracles and other truth books come along with just one goal in mind, to give you that new perception, that new conversation. But you have to study, and you have to read, and you have to remember, and that's the part that is the challenge, right? Because there's a part of us that doesn't want to take the time to do that, right? The Course in Miracles says the problem is not a problem of concentration. The problem is you don't think you're worth it. That when you give up on something and you're not consistent on something and you know you want to change, it says, well, the problem isn't that you can't concentrate on it. He said the problem is you don't think you're worth the effort. You don't think you're worth the consistent effort that it would take to change your mind to have the kind of life that you want. And I went, wow, that's deep. But that's so true. I didn't know that. I just didn't think I was worth it. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you really give a person more love than they think they deserve, they usually never fall in love with you. You're going to be automatically put in the friend zone. You won't be put in the lover zone. The lover zone is reserved for the person who most reflects your own image of yourself. So if you don't believe that you are worth a person that's loving to you and kind to you and turned on by you and recognize you, then someone that's like that, you're not going to want to make special. You're going to want to make the person special who most reflects your unconscious or conscious beliefs about yourself. So that's why you end up with a lover or a mate that looks like they're nothing like what you want, because they are showing you what you think about yourself, but you don't know it. And they're making you aware of what you need to change about yourself, but you don't know it. So that's what they're serving. They're serving to bring up your patterns about yourself so that you can see them and so you can change. The people that you most get turned on by are the ones who are most reflecting what it is you value.
All right.
I mean, you could have heard a cricket fart here.
I'm really encouraged.
Thank you.
I'm seeing things that are reflecting back to me, that encouraging stuff.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying that you're not. You know what I'm saying? But it's the well people don't need a doctor.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So this class is to transform those parts of ourselves that do need to change. So yes, I'm not taking away, if you're surrounded by loving people and you're turned on by people who love you, then you can safely assume that's how you feel about yourself. And in whatever area that's not the case, then that just means that's where you're seeing yourself a victim of the world that you see. Mm-hmm.
You know, this term just came up in my head, and I want to say it is total bull. Tough love, right? When somebody justifies giving you that tough love, that's my ego thoughts around me choosing this person and giving me this tough love. Does that make sense?
If tough love is not something that appeals to you, then you don't need tough love.
Yeah,
Right. Some people ask for tough love. Right. Yeah. That's right. And see, in some people, it's tough love that they respond to. So that's why we mustn't judge anybody else's path, because everybody's got a different approach to going to the same place. Some people, they don't respond to the little gentle doo, 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 doo. Sometimes they ask for life to like bang on their hoods to wake them up. I personally want to learn through joy.
Me too.
I personally want to learn through love and compassion. So I know that to do that, I have to start with having love and compassion for myself, right? So sometimes when I'm feeling needy, and I go, oh, let me see if I can come up with somebody to go to a movie with or something because I'm feeling needy, right? Then I go, okay, catch yourself, Purdy. Stop, take yourself to the movie. You'd be amazed at how good a dinner you can give yourself by yourself. Taking myself out is infinitely less expensive, and I always get lucky. I've never turned myself down.
Yeah, what if you meet these people that embody all these things and love exactly as you are and turned on by you and all of these things, and you don't have that same feeling? How can you make yourself have that feeling so you can accept them as a gift?
Well, what you can do is appreciate the love that they're sharing you. Like the Course in Miracles says, whatever comes into your mind, the answer is always gratitude. So the more I focus on gratitude, then the more I'll be able to respond to the person that's giving it to me. So I need to increase my gratitude quotient, so that I love myself enough to be able to respond. But responding to the love doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get into a relationship or there's a physical thing that's going to happen between you and that other person because you're recognizing their love. Actually love is ultimately non-physical. But then it just comes through the physical. The physical is one way it can come through. But true love has nothing to do with the physical, because you want to be able to experience it anytime, anywhere, anyhow. And if you make something dependent on the physical, then you think you can only experience it at a certain time, a certain place, and a certain circumstance. So really, physical love is quite limited, but real love is unlimited, because no matter where you are, I can feel my love for you.
Yep, sure.
No matter what you're doing, right? So anything, always remember this, according to the Course, anything that's real is always something you can have all the time and now. If it's not real, it involves past or future. Whatever is real, you can have it now. Anything that's real, you don't have to wait on it. If it's real, it's here now. If it's real, it's here now. If it's anything you're focusing on that's of the past or the future, you're focusing on something that doesn't exist, so your mind is effectively blank. You're focusing on something that doesn't exist, so your mind is effectively blank. If you're focusing on the past or the future, you're focusing on something that doesn't exist, and so your mind is blank, and you're not really focusing on anything at all. Wow. Okay.
Great.
Yeah.
I found it very helpful that you said the ego is mobilized. Immobilized when it is around the truth. And so that means that when my ego is really strong, I need to come to class and I need to be around people that will tell me the truth. And also, when I'm around others, I need to be that for them.
That's right. Yeah.
Understanding.
You need your learning the most. You need your truth the most in situations that seem most upsetting. You need your truth. You need your path in situations that seem most upsetting. That's when the average person does not use their truth or their path, is when they're upset. So you need it the most when you're upset. When you're most feeling like the victim, you need to tell yourself you're not one. When you're most feeling like a victim, is when you need to tell yourself you're not one. When you most feel like a victim, that's when you need to remind yourself that you're not one. But if you're angry, then you're going to have a tendency to believe that you must be right because you're angry. If you're upset, you're going to have a tendency to believe you must be right because you wouldn't be upset about nothing, would you? Right. So the lesson I'm going to cover now is called Lesson 71. Only God's plan for salvation will work, which is the same as saying only love's plan for healing will work. So wherever you hear the word God, if we're talking about the love that created us, wherever you see the word salvation, it's talking about right-mindedness. Now, what I'm going to do this differently because there's a limited amount of time. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take about 5 minutes. This is going to be radical because some of you are going to pass out, and some of you are going to zone out, and some of you are going to hear. Some of y'all are going to be thinking about, Super Bowl. Your mind's going to be everywhere. Despite you're going to be amazed. You're just going to go, your mind's going to go somewhere. Some of you are going to be riveted. We'll see. Okay? So, only God's plan for salvation will work. You may not realize that the part of you that can't stand you has set up a plan for your happiness that's just the opposite of God's. There's a part of you that doesn't love you that's come up with a plan that's just the opposite of love. He says, this plan you believe in. You believe in the plan that's the opposite of love. And since this plan is the opposite of love, you also believe that to accept love's plan in place of your ego's plan is to be damned. What does that mean? Well, it just means, I know this sounds preposterous, of course, yet, I'm going to explain what your ego's plan is. The plan of the part of you that doesn't think you deserve to be happy. The plan of the part of you that doesn't think you deserve to be happy is, perhaps you will realize it's a preposterous plan, but he says, but you do believe in it. In other words, there's a preposterous plan for your happiness that you believe in. There's a crazy way to be happy that you believe in. Yeah. And he says, now the ego's plan, the part of your mind is totally insane, don't like nobody think you're guilty and crazy. Anybody got that part? Okay, that part of your mind, it has a plan for your happiness. Oh, you mean the part of you that can't stand me? It has a plan for my happiness? Yes, the part of you that can't stand you has a plan for your happiness. Would you like to know what it is? Yes. Well, it centers around holding grievances. So you're trying to tell me that the plan for my happiness is for me to be mad as hell at everybody all the time. That sounds like an interesting plan. Sounds kind of preposterous. Then it says, how does it work? Well, this plan maintains that if someone else spoke or acted differently, if some external circumstance or event were changed, you would be saved, you would be happy. So let me hit. What are you talking about? There's a plan that you come up with that says, if my mama, father, sister, brother, lover spoke or acted differently, my boss acted differently, the politicians acted differently, if they spoke differently, if some external circumstance or event were changed, then I'd be happy. That I'm happy right now because there's this external event or circumstance that needs to change, and then I'll be happy. When I have money, I'll be happy. When someone treats me and speaks a certain way, I'll be happy. I'll be happy when you all respond the way that I think you need to respond in the class for me to be happy. He says that's the plan. Now, those of you who haven't signed the contact list and would like to, please do. We're going to pass it around because I video all of my classes and I send them out once a week as a link that you can click on to see it on YouTube so that you get a chance to hear it again. And if you have some people that live somewhere else that you'd like to turn on to this, they can Google me or go to my website, earlpurdy.com, and I got hundreds of classes. online, because it's through repetition that you change your mind. It's through repetition that you change your mind. It's through repetition that you change your mind. It's through repetition and hearing it over and over again that you change your mind. I cannot impact you totally in this 1 hour today. You have to give yourself this I am not a victim all the time, right? So there's a plan. The plan is making the source of your happiness be constantly perceived as outside yourself. The plan that will never work is for me to come up with the plan that says there's always something that needs to change outside of myself for me to be happy. There's always something that needs to change or somebody that needs to change for you to be happy. And I love that the Course in Miracles calls that a grievance. I had never thought of a grievance as being that. Yeah, a grievance is you walking around all day thinking everybody else needs to be different for you to be okay. That's like waking up in the morning with a grievance. Because I'm getting up in the morning thinking how everybody around me needs to be other than the way they are, which means there's something unacceptable about everything around me in order for me to be happy. He says that's a grievance, and each grievance you hold is a declaration, is an assertion in which you believe that says, if this were different, I would be saved. If this were different, I would be saved. If you were different, I'd be happy. He says the change of mind necessary for happiness is thus demanded of everyone and everything except you. So you're saying in order for you to be happy, everything and everyone needs to change except you. Everyone and everything needs to change except you. Everyone and everything needs to change except you. In order for you to be happy, everything must change except you. What does that mean? That means, notice if you how I'm doing this. What does that mean? The role assigned to your own mind, there's a role that's been assigned to your own mind in this plan then, is for your mind to simply determine what other than your mind must change.
Oh, right.
So I'm using my mind to figure out everything that needs to change, but my mind.
Yeah.
I'm using my mind to come up with how you need to change, how society needs to change, how the world needs to change. I'm using my mind to figure out everybody and everything that needs to change but me. Right? According to this insane plan, I love how he says that. According to this insane plan, any perceived source of happiness is acceptable, but there's only one condition. It will not work. So you're only going to choose a plan. The Course says you're going to come up with everything you can think of in order for you to be happy, but the part of you that doesn't love you is going to always make sure it doesn't work. So you choose the wrong mate, the wrong job, the wrong everything. Because your plan is, number one, it's got to be something or somebody outside of myself that's going to make me happy. And I got to make sure the person I choose is wrong. Yeah. That it doesn't work. First I look outside of myself for happiness and joy, and then I make sure I choose the person that will not be a means for me to have happiness and joy on a consistent basis. And notice I say on a consistent basis. I'm not talking about that little up and down stuff every other day on a holiday, Valentine's Day kind of thing. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about consistent joy. Right? That's what's real, not the inconsistent, the consistent. So what does that mean? Well, actually, if you look outside yourself for happiness and believe everybody else has got to change, and then you're going to only choose those situations and circumstances and people that won't work, this ensures that the fruitless search will continue because you still have the illusion that although this hope has always failed, there is still grounds for hope in other places and other things. Another person is going to serve me better. Notice the sentence. It says another person will what? Serve better. See, I'm looking for people to serve me. It goes further than in a restaurant ordering a meal. I want everybody to serve me. I want you to do the thing that makes me happy. You're here to serve me. I'm looking, that's what people say they're looking for a partner. They're looking for somebody to serve. And the better you serve, the more they say you love them. And if you serve so well that you put your needs behind theirs and you sacrifice what makes you happy, you are really serving well. And I admit there's a part of my mind that wants you to serve me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Anybody that's willing to get out of denial? Yeah. There's a part of us that. So we're using the insane plan. Right? And then it says the crazy plan said there's still grounds for hope in other places. I just need to leave Denver. If I just left Denver, then my happiness is certainly in Knoxville. And other things. Oh, I need to get this house. I need to get this car. I need to get this body. See, my happiness is in other things, right? And then it says, another person will yet serve better. Another situation will yet offer success. That's your ego's plan for your happiness. That's the plan of the part of you that doesn't really love you and that doesn't think you deserve to be happy and thinks you're separate from God and love. That part of you, that's his plan. So if you find yourself ever going, if this were different, then I would be happy. Now, does that mean that there's anything wrong with you wanting to expand and grow and have new experiences and give yourself new situations and circumstances and places? No. You just do it without thinking that it's going to make you happy. And you look at it as an opportunity for you to be a channel for happiness.
Yeah.
For you to be the channel of love. For you, this is another opportunity for me to show you who I am and show you who you are to me. That's what every situation, this situation right here is just another opportunity for me to show you who I am and show you who you are to me. So I am loving and lovable, and I want to show you that I think you are. That's the purpose of any situation I go into for the rest of my life, no matter what the situation is, so I don't have to worry about how to behave in different situations and circumstances, unless I think there are different ways to behave in different situations and circumstances. But if I've made the decision I'm going to be as loving as I can in every situation, then I don't have to figure out how I'm going to act in the future. The only reason why you'd be trying to figure out how you're going to act in the future is you haven't made a decision about being loving and showing up as who you are and showing other people who they are to you. You still think it's like, I don't know yet whether I'm really going to show them some love or not. And that depends on whether or not they served me the way that I should think they should. That depends on whether or not they're making me happy. Because most people, when you hear them say they want a relationship, they don't say, I really want a relationship so I can show somebody just how much I love and appreciate them and give them wonderful joy and happiness. No, that's not what you hear. It's really about what you going to do for me. I'm looking for the person who looks like they're going to make me happy. And in return, I'll give them my dysfunctional love. I'm scared of everybody, don't know how to love nobody, but I'm looking for somebody. It's so funny. It's cruel. Stop giving yourself to people. I'm going to fix you what? I'm going to give you me. If you don't love yourself, that's what you're doing. If you don't think you're valuable, you don't think you're lovable, why you want to give yourself to somebody? That's cruel. I'm the most pathetic thing around trying to give myself to people. Come on, do you want somebody that don't know how to do nothing right? You want somebody that don't know how to love, that's scared to death of intimacy, don't know how to be honest and open and consent. Come on, you want me, don't you? Look at my car. Look at my apartment. Look at the money I got. See? Yeah, I'm going to get you so caught up in the form, you won't pay attention to the content. If people worked out with their minds and the way they do with their body, it'd be a whole different world. Why do people work so hard to make sure their body in shape? Because that's all it takes with an asleep person to attract them to you. If you awake, you still may have your body preferences, but it will not supersede the importance of that person's thinking and their mind. I get turned on by a mind the way I used to get turned on by a body. I whistle at minds now. Damn, she got a fine mind. Wow, did you hear that? Did you hear what just came out of her mouth? Woo! That's where I am now. Used to be a butt. I saw one just the other night. Okay. Now, I thought I was going to be a victim at first. I want to walk up to her and say, I'm not a victim of your butt. It's a good beginning. I think I'm improving, don't you? So the part of you that doesn't love you, it has a basic doctrine, which is seek but do not find. Seek but do not find. Seek but do not find. Right? So the part of you that doesn't love you is always telling you to seek but don't find. So it's always guaranteeing that you won't find. And the way that it guarantees that you won't find is by always telling you if somebody else spoke or acted differently, if some situation and circumstance outside of myself were different, then I could feel good right now. That's the plan that will never work. And so what you do every time that you do that, you remind yourself, you go, wow, I'm telling myself again that if they spoke and acted differently, then I'd be happy, as if my happiness depended on what they did, instead of my happiness depending on what I believe and what I think about myself, and what I'm focusing on is the truth about me. I've forgotten that my happiness lies within me, because I'm the one that's thinking and I'm the one that's experiencing my thinking, so I could be happy in any situation or in a circumstance if I was willing to look at it differently. So really my happiness has nothing to do with anything or anybody outside of myself, and I can have happiness with anything and anybody outside of myself, because I know my happiness isn't dependent on anything or anybody outside of myself, so I can really enjoy you because what? You can't upset me because I love me, so therefore I don't have any grievances because I don't have any unrealistic expectation of you to make me happy, so I don't have nothing to be mad at you about, because expectations are the mother of grievances. Would you acknowledge yourself in here? Financial expression of appreciation right now, and we're going to do it this quickly. That's something I want to share with you, okay? And I'm a full-time teacher of the Course in Miracles, so I thank you so much for sharing with me if you see value in what I do. I really appreciate it. Let me pass this around for you. Thank you. And I want to say that next Saturday we're having the Advanced Mind Training, Heart Training, Deep seminar right here at February 6th. If you've signed up for it, and you can go ahead and try to do the financial investment for that, it would be great because there's a great interest in it, and so it would be good if you went ahead and took care of that. If you want to online make an expression of appreciation, then just go to my website, earlpurdy.com. Thank you those who are watching online around the world. And I'm available for one-on-one sessions called Clarity Sessions, where I use all the metaphysical truth teachings that you see here and more. We address your particular problem and issue. And for those who are open-minded, I've also been an astrology and numerologist for over 30 years, and I bring that into the experience. How does that work with the Course? It's just another way for Spirit to communicate a message to you. And that's what this is. So go to my website, you'll see more about it right then and there. All right? Okay. So there's a song I want to end on today that I think is perfect. And it goes something like, Tuesday night, the Way of Mastery class at 7 o'clock, kick butt class. No, it's not for the faint of heart, but everybody's welcome. Okay? It's called Way of Mastery, 7 o'clock on Tuesday night. God, you're so cool. You know. And suppose I just accepted you exactly as you are, the way you are, where you are, and love you that way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Won't be nobody interested in me. Okay. All right.
Excuse me. We need that. We didn't get over on the side.
Sorry. Hey, Mike.
Whoa.
If he was different, I'd be out. No, you stay just where you are, brother. I'm glad you're here. I'm telling you. Because when I'm talking sometimes, I have to look for friendly faces. Yours pretty much friendly all the time. Sometimes, y'all don't know what y'all look like from up here sometimes, I swear. Here we go. I'm not a victim. You're not a victim. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, of the world I see. Y'all got some soul out there? I'm not a victim of my mom. I'm not a victim of my pa. I'm not a victim of even circumstance at all. I'm not a victim. Do y'all hear that? Of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I've done to me. Is that right? I'm not a victim blocking the camera, blocking the camera. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, say what? Of the world I see. I'm not a victim, oh, say what? Of the world I see. Can we get a hand clap out there? You are innocent, you're not a victim of anyone. Remember that only love's plan for happiness will work. If you stop saying that this was different, I would be happy. Stop saying if this were different, I would be happy. Stop saying if this were different, I would be happy. Stop saying if this were different, I would be happy. I'm not a victim of the North, I'm not a victim of the South, not a victim of anything. So if it comes out my mouth, I'm not a victim. Yeah, of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now is what I done to me. Woo! That sounds good. Yeah. Come here. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim, no, say what? Of the world I see. Are we gonna claim our freedom? Yeah! You are so juicy and sweet. If someone doesn't see how awesome you are, that is because they are blind and can't see. Stop falling in love with people who are blind and can't see. Because what's happening now is what I've done to me. Woo! I like what I'm doing to me right now, don't you? I'm not a victim of the world I see. I'm not a victim of the world I see. Cause what's happening now, say what, is what I've done to me. Could you give it up, Holy Spirit? I appreciate y'all. Hugs are available. I love hugs. Okay, we got one announcement that we want to, Sheila wants to make.
And you can order that CD on